4 months after the breakup, my boss called me into her office again. I felt my stomach drop, thinking I was about to get fired for that missed deadline. Instead, she told me I was getting a promotion. She said I had successfully completed a major project, and my work over the past few months showed real resilience and focus. The promotion came with a raise. It wasn't huge, but it was enough to make my studio apartment affordable without help from my parents. She said she had been impressed by how I handled the difficult period after my breakup. She said I had proven I could separate my personal life from my professional responsibilities. I walked out of her office feeling genuinely proud of myself for the first time since everything fell apart. I had survived the worst few months of my life and come out stronger. I was building a life that was completely mine. A life based on my own values and choices instead of trying to fit into someone else's expectations. That night, I sat in my tiny studio apartment eating takeout and watching my favorite show that Oliver always complained about. I looked around at the space I had decorated exactly how I wanted. I thought about my job and my friends and my family who supported me unconditionally. I realized I was actually happy. Not the anxious happiness I felt with Oliver, where I was always worried about doing something wrong. Real happiness that came from being completely myself without apology. I found out through a mutual friend who ran into Oliver's mother at the grocery store. She mentioned it casually, like she was sharing gossip about the weather. Oliver's parents were telling everyone who would listen that I had some kind of breakdown and canceled the wedding for no real reason. They were saying I got cold feet and panicked, that I overreacted to normal family bonding. My friend asked if I wanted her to set the record straight, and I almost said yes. Part of me wanted to defend myself, to make sure everyone knew what really happened in that living room. But then I realized something that felt like freedom. Their opinion didn't actually matter anymore. The people who really knew me understood the truth without me having to explain it. Everyone else wasn't my problem or my concern. I had spent 3 years trying to make Oliver's family like me, and now I was finally done caring what they thought. 2 weeks later, I was eating lunch in the break room at work when a coworker sat down across from me. She was engaged and planning her wedding for next spring. She started talking about her future in-laws and mentioned they had some interesting traditions for welcoming new family members. The way she said it made my stomach drop. I asked her what kind of traditions, trying to keep my voice casual. She described something that sounded way too familiar. A special dinner where the family would share honest feedback to help her become a better wife. She laughed nervously and said it sounded weird, but her fiancé promised it was just their way of showing they cared. I put down my sandwich and looked at her directly. I told her I had been in a similar situation and it didn't end well. Over the next hour, I shared a carefully edited version of the welcome circle, watching her face change as she recognized the warning signs in her own relationship. She went quiet for a long time after I finished talking.